Ben Senson from Madison College and James Madison Memorial High School, and welcome to the Astronomical Drawing Project. In this first video, what we want to do is introduce you to the tools that we'll need to use. And what you should be able to do is find a downloadable PDF that looks like this. And what it has on it is a couple different sizes of protractors and a ruler segment. And these should all be to scale. So if we're doing this remotely or virtually and you don't have these kind of tools at home, you can do this. Now the idea is this largest protractor is going to be a 6-inch diameter or a 3-inch radius. The next smallest protractor is going to have a 3.5-inch diameter, so a 1 3/4 inch radius. And the smallest one down here is 2 inches in diameter, 1 inch in radius. Also didn't include an entire ruler since it won't fit on a standard size piece of paper. And so most people don't have oversized printers at home. And so it's a 10-inch or about 24 centimeters long segment. You'll notice that we cut off the 0 end of the metric side, and so you will have to do something like start measuring from 10 and just think about that if you're using that ruler. Now what we're going to want to do is take that and print it out. It's PDF, so it should be full size. And then what you're going to want to do is cut out each of those different pieces so that we can move them around and use them as a drafting tool. A couple other things you are going to need is either a pen or pencil, right? So a nice fine-tipped black pen works really, really nicely. I actually prefer a mechanical pencil just because it maintains a nice sharp tip. I can make very, very light markings to begin with, so if I have to make corrections and stuff, it's not too bad. Because of that, I will also keep in here a nice high-quality, soft, squishy gray eraser so that I can remove any marks I need to and go back and make corrections. The last tool that is kind of handy for some of our drawing projects is going to be a drafting compass. And I'm sure we're all fairly familiar with drafting compasses. You've seen them before. They look, something like this. Or I have ones that allow me to draw some really, really large circles like this one. But really at home, a lot of people don't have these tools. So what I want to show you next is some compass cheats, how to get the same exact function of a compass without having some of these specialized tools. So let's start with just taking a little pack of paper here and put a little mark in the middle so that we can see where we're going to try to draw a circle. And what I want to do is draw maybe a 2-inch diameter circle. That means I need a radius of 1 inch. Now in most drafting compasses, what you want to do is just take that and say, well, whatever the radius is what I'm going to set this for. So I could start anywhere. I'll put that little point on the 4-inch mark, slide this over till it's on the 5, and then all I do is put the sharp point in the center, and I can swing an arc, right? And so if I want a 2-inch radius, I could do that and mark it. So that's great if I have a compass. But what if I don't? What if I want to do something else? Well, we can do this out of a lot of different materials, so I just want to demo a couple different ones. One is if you have a piece of string, any kind of string whatsoever, what we can do is we can take and put a little loop into the one end of that string, and what we can do is take any object whatsoever, another pen, another pencil, or something like that, and we can actually just stick it through that little loop that I just tied. So I'm just going to stick it through that loop like that. And I'm going to put that down in my center mark, and I'm going to hold it up. Now, what I can do then is I can swing an arc. What I need to know is where to actually hold the other object. So going like this, what I would actually do is take my ruler over to this device, and I would say, oh, well, what I want is a 1-inch circle. So what I'm going to do is just hold my pencil in there until I get it to be about at the 1-inch mark, and then I will literally just hold this as I go swinging around. And it doesn't have to be perfect, right? But we can get an arc that'll be approximately 1 inch in length. Okay? So that's just a string and something else pokey like that. If you don't have any string around, oftentimes you'll get packaging and you'll have these long twist ties in there. And you can do the same thing. You can just twist a little loop into one end and put that up onto your center pivot. And same thing, come on in here and figure out, like I want a 6-inch diameter circle. I can figure out that I would pinch it out here, and then, you can just go in there. And it won't be a perfect circle. Drafting compass would be best if we had it. But we can go in here. We can swing a pretty good arc to get my 6-inch diameter circle there, right? So we can draw it. Of course, if you do need standard size circles, you can always go back and just trace the outline of our protractors, because that was a 6-inch size one as well. Now, in order to get it centered and make sure if I do a circle on top of a circle, I am going to want to do what I did with this one here, which is to poke out the center hole and actually punch a little tiny hole in there so that you can actually see when you get it on the center mark. So if I wanted to center that one up, I can get in here and see the middle of my little red mark underneath. You can see it under there. And I could get this set and I could trace this and I would know I have a 1 3/4 inch circle. So circles cutouts are good for your protractor, as well as making sort of a made-at-home compass. By the way, you can also do it just with a pencil and do the same sort of trick and say, well, what I'm going to do is make that eraser my pivot point. And same thing, if I have more than one pencil, I can do the same thing and just kind of go in here and put this at a mark. You can make it a little bit even more effective if you want to. Just grab some little dabs of tape, and you can make it so it sticks in that place, a little less likely to shift around. And of course you can keep moving that, but now I have that fixed. And same thing, I just put this down and I could swing my piece of paper around the outside. This one could actually be handy to have another person around, or just, like I said, swing an arc, and you can get roughly a circle of the right size. So if you don't have a drafting compass, this still can be done. We just have to make up some other tools. So that's basically all you need, is a couple different sizes of protractors to measure some angles. Ruler that's at least maybe 7 to 10 inches long. Drafting compass is very, very, very handy. If you happen to have one that can go absolutely ginormous and huge, that is absolutely great, but it's not absolutely essential. And like I said, I prefer to work in pencil with a good eraser and maybe a little bit of tape so that I can lock my paper down so it doesn't shift around as well. But that's it for equipment. Look for the PDF printout with your protractors and your ruler, and we can get started on our astronomical drawing projects. Once again, this has been Senson, Madison College, and James Madison Memorial High School. Hope you enjoy the drawing projects.